So what we're going to do today is we're going to install a hood pad insulator kit from QuietRide Solutions onto this hood, and we're going to show you the steps of how to prepare the hood and how to install the heat shield kit and the ABS panel. And the heat shield kit comes in a package like so. This is the packet for this hood, this specific hood. These are pre-cut kits. They are custom fit for your application. It's not a universal kit. It will fit direct fit first time, perfect fit. And it comes with the spray glue, the aluminum seam tape, and the ABS panel, and the heat shield insulation. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this. It helps to have the hood off the vehicle when you do this. It's not necessary, but it's easier to do that way. It'll take 2 people and 5 minutes to remove a hood from a vehicle. And let's get started. Okay, so we've opened our insulation kit, and we've so far laid out a couple pieces. As you can see, they are pre-cut pieces. They're fairly simple to arrange. Your kit will have an instruction sheet with the layout of the pieces. We also have the 3M spray adhesive, the aluminum tape, and with this kit is 10 mounting pins. There's 10 holes that these will go in. And the ABS panel is the next step of it, but we're going to start with laying down the heat shield and taping it in. Okay, so we are going to start with spraying the contact adhesive glue. It is a contact adhesive, which means that you need to have both surfaces sprayed with glue. You need to spray the back side of the insulation, and you need to spray the portion of the panel that you're going to apply this insulation to with a layer of glue. You let it tack, it'll dry somewhat for 30 seconds, and that's when you can pick it up. It'll be dry to the touch to your hand, so it won't stick you all over the place, and you can lay it on lightly, get it positioned just right, and then press down, and it's stuck. So be sure where you want it before you press down firmly. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray a layer over this. And what you want to do is you want to have a piece of cardboard or some newspaper laid out somewhere that you're not going to get overspray on your belongings, on your hood, on your car. And there's not much overspray, but just be careful. And what we'll do is we'll spray over it. It doesn't take much. It comes out in almost a spider web fashion. And there is plenty of glue for this application. This bottle will last you a long time. So we've sprayed the insulation panel, and now what we're going to do is we're going to spray the underside of the hood. And you want to stay within the boundaries of where the insulation is going to sit on the panel itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray this. You want to be careful doing this. You can see it's fairly directional. You can be accurate at where it's going to be. You don't need to be all the way out to the edge, because this glue will do a very good job at holding this panel on. So we have our 2 surfaces sprayed, and this, as you can see, it's dry to the touch, but when it contacts this other panel, it's going to stick. So you're going to take this, you're going to position it right about where you want it, lay it down, make sure you're centered, push down. This panel is installed. The next step to sealing this panel to your hood is with the aluminum seam tape. And what that's going to do is that's going to seal the edges from any heat and moisture from leaving this area. And as you can see, this panel is firmly down. And the ABS panel is going to be on top of all this, so it's going to be hidden, but it's going to be really good looking underneath your panel as well. Okay, so I have glued down the heat shield panels. The next step is to tape all around the edges of this heat shield to seal the heat in the engine compartment and away from your hood. And so what we have here is the aluminum seam tape. I've pulled some of the tape away from the backing. It's a little trick I'm going to show you because this tape is It's easy to work with, but it's very thin and it's made out of aluminum. So I'll show you a little tip. So what you're going to do is you want to figure out the length of tape that you're going to work with, and what you want to do is you want to tape on the edge of the metal and have it come down over the edge of the heat shield. You want to basically 50-50 coverage on both the body panel, the hood, and the heat shield itself. So we're going to get about a length right here. You want to start with the hood, get your seam done first. Now I have a little piece of the backing peeled away already, and so you peel it away as you're going to lay it down. So keeping tension on the tape that I've got started. Peel this backing away, lay it down, and just go along. It actually goes down fairly quickly. So, and being that I pulled a little bit of paper away, I'm going to peel this seam tape off like that, and you can start on your the next section having that piece already ready to go. So you have your edge down on the hood itself, and then you're just going to roll it down over the seam until the tape contacts the heat shield, and just lay it down lightly, going back and forth across. Got the first little part down. We're going to go just like we did here, all the way around and do every section. So on this outer edge, what we're going to see is the ABS panel is going to ride this line, this body line. Well, as it comes right here, you want to be aware that you need to keep the aluminum tape below that, because you don't want to see that sticking out where the ABS panel is. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay the ABS panel down, and we're going to line up the holes so that we know where the line's going to be. We don't want the tape, the aluminum tape, to go above that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some masking tape. You just want to lay down the line so that you know that you do not want to take your aluminum tape above that line. You don't want to be able to see it. So it's not like we're drawing pinstripes. You don't need to be all that. You just want to follow the line of where this ABS panel is going to sit, and make sure you line up the holes so that the ABS panel is sitting properly. And you can see that this is where we don't want the aluminum tape to rise above. Take this off. And now we know that we have this area to run the tape up to. And aluminum tape. So, I'm going to start with one edge, keep it below, you want to lay this down lightly at first, just enough so it sticks where you're laying it, but not so much that you're having a hard time pulling up if you want to readjust it. Careful that it does want to stick to anything else that it touches. So now you can see that you have making it to where you will not see the aluminum tape. Now when it comes to these corners, easiest way to do it would be to use smaller pieces. About 2-inch pieces works pretty good. And what you would do is you can start on the edge, get it, kind of work it on there in an arc. You can even get a pretty nice looking arc on there. Just lay them down one piece at a time. As you can see how they lay down. Pretty good. small pieces. Start at the top edge first, like I mentioned earlier. Keep laying these down until you have it completely sealed. So we have the heat shield insulation glued in and the seams taped, and the next step is to actually install the ABS panel. Included in this kit are these plastic pins. It's a Christmas tree type of pin. As you can see, it's barbed, and what it will do is these are made for a 1/4 inch hole, and you want to make sure that your hood has 1/4 inch holes. Hoods vary, they generally are around that size, but an easy way to figure out if your holes will fit these pins is to use a 1/4 inch drill bit. You can just use the back of the drill bit. If it goes in your hole, it's a 1/4 inch hole. If not, what I recommend to do is you can ream your holes out. It would be a slight ream. Just take your drill, put a piece of tape on the drill bit so you know not to go too far into your hood, because this is above the outer skin of your hood, but you don't want to go all the way through. You just want to go through this panel right here and just ream the hole out. So put a piece of tape about a 1/2 inch down, and when you're drilling, the tip will go through. It'll clean up that edge, make it big enough for this pin to fit. So let's get this ABS panel on here. Just make sure the holes are lined up. The holes are already pre-cut, pre-drilled, so you don't have to worry about that part of it. And start pushing pins in. Push down, they lock in, and they will fit this hood pad securely to your hood. Putting the last pin down, and there you have it. There's your hood pad insulated with the ABS panel, and your hood is now ready to be reinstalled on your car. A couple bolts and you're back up and running with a pretty slick looking underneath the hood.